What's going on, everybody? Prophecy Wiz back at it again with yet another video. Thank you guys all so much for all the continued support on all of the videos. I really appreciate everybody. Today I have a special one that's been highly requested. I have some gameplay footage of me playing this in a match on DB. This is from a few days ago, but at the time of recording this, me and my opponent were both top 50 ranked on DB, so both pretty high rated. If you guys like this kind of content and like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to comment below that you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, what kind of matchups you guys would like to see, and just let me know that you guys would like to see this again, because that'll be how I base if I want to do this. I like doing these kind of videos, but I wasn't sure that they would be super successful, so I held off. But it's been very requested, and you guys have been awesome supportive wise, so I decided to do the video. This is going to be me playing against a stun matchup. I wanted to kind of take just a few seconds to explain before I started playing, like, some of the things that you want to look for. So, like, for starters, one of the things that you definitely want to obviously look for is, like, Deer being able to dump and Tiss, Diviner being able to dump and Tiss, getting rituals involved for the trap card. All of the somewhat self-explanatory stuff, but really trying to figure out like all of your facets and being patient. Also not having making sure to keep your attitude up, because this is very important. I see this in tournaments all the time. Somebody will open a bad or an odd hand, and then their opponent opens really good, and they just get really deterred and start to just blame the hand rather than figure out what they can do with the hand. And I thought that this is a good example of this. So without further ado, let's get right into the gameplay. So had to hit him with the good luck. 40 versus 40. Shout out to DB Grinder. Gotta love to see that, right? So we have in our opponent's hand Skill Drain, Runic Destruction, Freezing Curses, Pot of Duality, Flashing Fire. So very good hand, having won the die roll. My hand, we have Maximus, not the greatest draw, Diviner, Low, Ritual Spell, Valor. Playable, but not, definitely not the best hand we could have opened, so get right into it. So our opponent activates Pot of Duality. Obviously, this is blind. He hits Goza Match, takes the Goza Match. So, in obviously being blind, he would take the Goza Match. Thankfully, the Goza Match isn't that good against this. He sets 5 back row, though, which is kind of disappointing for me, because it's we know at least one of them, but it's essentially as if he has 4 back row here. So we think for a moment the low is a little bit easier to resolve, so we figure might as well try to resolve the Diviner. What I'm thinking here is that we have the ability to summon a Diviner, attempt his effect. If it resolves, sure, we'll pop a random card. And then we can try to summon out the Maximus by using the links in the extra deck, and then Maximus, if the Diviner resolve, the Maximus is likely to resolve, and then we can get the Skull Guardian, and then Ritual spell, send the low from hand, Skull Guardian. So definitely Diviner here is what we would want to normal summon. This is from a few days ago, so I don't remember this match exactly. I just remember having it been an interesting game, even though I know it's getting stunned, but I think it's important to show kind of how it plays out. So they activate the Freezing Curses, banish 3, sure. Notable that we did banish the one of Trias, one of the 2 Saphira. However, if we do get Blessings involved, any of the Voiceless voice cards that do get banished, we do get to start adding back. So he uses 1. So now the way I'm looking at this is he's got 3 back row, because he's used 1. He obviously can't use another Freezing Curses, so he has a goes in and he's got 3 back row. So it's okay, this could be worse now. That got significantly better. So, because that wasn't a flood. The Almirage into Gardena. It's possible that he should have flipped the Gozen on the Almirage. However, I also think that the way that it ends up playing out, it wouldn't have actually mattered if you guys stay tuned for that. So we activate the Maximus to summon. He says think. I'm thinking he's saying in the hand effect, he's taking on summon. Sure. He activates the Flashing Fire to pop. I say, okay, there's nothing I can do about that. Banish 2 cards, go battle phase, attack. Now he's got Goes a Match and 2 back row. So I'm like, okay, this could be worse, right? Goes a Match, 2 back row. We're going to set the prayers because obviously we know he has Runic. And we're going to hope that he just pops one of the prayers because it doesn't really matter if he does. Like, it just like gets another card out of the things that we have to think about because that would essentially give him just like 2 more cards after he top decks. And we already have a copy of prayers in the hand. So he doesn't pop it. I think it's very likely he would have popped it had he had the, had he had the Runic spell that pops, but he didn't. He top decks into Rivalry of the Warlords, so now he has Rivalry, Gozen, Skill Drain, and Runic Destruction. So he did have the Destruction, obviously, but he decided not to pop. I was thinking he likely would have popped if I just shot one past, but he doesn't. That's fine. So we go to our turn. We draw pre-prep. He flips Rivalry in the standby phase so that we cannot just start playing. So now we are locked into Cyrus monsters. Not ideal. So battle phase, attack, I think here, but I obviously can't normal summon the low. I can't use pre-prep because I've opened both copies of the ritual spell. This Valor's not really doing anything, but we can do chip damage. 1,000. He hits There Can Be Only One. So now he has Rivalry, Gozen, There Can Be Only One, Skill Drain, and Runic Destruction. Not the most ideal situation for myself, but just going to keep playing it. Draw a Diviner. So he goes standby main 1. I go battle. Oh. So then he top decks into a Mono Iwata, which is sucks a little bit because now I'm not going to be able to just continue to do chip damage. He's holding this probably for, I don't know, I would think he would have wanted to try to get the Runic spells involved, but maybe he's waiting till he sees another Runic spell so he can immediately resolve the Fountain. So I draw, Dominus Purge, sure, that doesn't help me here. I go battle phase, see what it is, a Manu, the Manu, I point to it, send back, hits D Fissure, so yep, he sets the Amanu, I draw Barrier, so immediately I draw Barrier, and like, the thing with this hand is, you're like, damn, you can't do anything, but you gotta know like what you are looking for, so Barrier, as soon as I seen Barrier, I knew that that is an out to this, because I can search Saphira and Tribute set it, and then I can start playing. That's a big deal. So that was immediately what I was looking for. I go activate the Barrier. I decided to activate the effect. He changed Destruction, so he held the Destruction, didn't pop this. Turned out to be in his favor because now he's removing Barrier. And I now still have no way to out this lock. Banish 4 cards. I would banish the Trap, which can suck, but also could turn out being good for blessings. Go to his turn. He opens another Runic, but now he had to use the Destruction, so he only has 1 Runic spell still. So he sets the Amino. Now we top deck our boy Saphira. So he flips There Can Be Only One now here with the Rivalry. So he's got Rivalry, Gozen, There Can Be Only One, Skill Drain, Amino, a D Fissure, and a Runic Smitting. So we go to main phase 1. We immediately tribute set the Saphira. Obviously, we can't summon it. Like, we can't tribute summon it because he has Revelry, but we can tribute set it. So we do that. He goes to his turn. He activates that to special summon. I'm thinking he's using the other effect. Sure, he used Hugin, discards, gets Valored. He probably should have done this in the draw phase, in my personal opinion. However, had he done it in the draw phase, we still have Dominus Purge, so it wouldn't have specifically affected the outcome there. We tap deck Imperm, flip the Saphira, and now we go battle phase. We take over what's presumably the Amino. It is Amino. We set the Imperm in the Rivalry column, because obviously this we don't care about, and we already have the Ritual spell that's been sitting there all game. We have, we know one of these has Gozen, so now we know everything but 2 cards still. And so we go to his turn. He tapped Cartodemise. This is where it kind of hurt him that he didn't do that in the draw phase, because I would have had to use Dominus instead of being able to use Valor, because now he Cartodemises, and Dominus Purge trades with that. So he passes off to me, and now I'm able to go main phase 1, activate the Imperm in the column of the Rivalry, hit the Hugin, and then activate the Ritual spell, send low, summon Skull Guardian, keeping this still concealed, and then Chinlink 1 low, Chinlink 2 Guardian. He says, he points to there can be only one. I said that you gotta check the types because I play that card as well. And then I asked if the effects were good. He flipped Skill Drain. I said that's fine. I summon the low. Because we're under Skill Drain, it's very important that we summon the low here in attack position because I now know this card is Gozo Match. He has no Runic Fountain, so he has no other plays. And this is Dragon, this is Warrior, this is Fairy, so all different types, which is awesome. We are able to beat over the Hugin with the low in attack position. The 50 is super strong. And then we attack with Saphira, attack with Skull Guardian, and that is game. So despite him having kind of a crazy hand, we just stayed patient, kind of knew what our outs were, waited until we seen the right cards, and yeah, played to that. So I thought that was a nice game. Now we're going second into Runic again. Our hand this time is Ash, Purge, Imperm, another copy of Rares, and another Ash Blossom. So definitely not an ideal hand this time. This hand's definitely worse than the last one. Like the other hand at least had like multiple different ways to play. This hand does not have multiple different ways to play. But he's playing a slow deck, so at least we know we have time to try to get to those cards, right? So his hand is Droplet, Freezing Curses, Inspector Border, Card Scanner, D-Fissure. So I'd say, once again, definitely a significantly better hand than I had. Activates Inspector Border, activates the Fissure and the Card Scanner, activates Card Scanner, hits the bottom card, and he gives me the second copy of the Ritual Spell. So despite me playing 2 Ritual Spell, I opened both of them in both copies, or in both the games that I played. Unfortunate, he hits Pot of Duality, which is insane. He Pot of Dualities, he thinks for a moment, and he ends up taking the Messenger of Peace, so that I essentially can't attack with anything that could get over the Inspector Border, so not a horrific choice. Presuming he has some sort of an idea of how this deck works, the D-Fissure is going to stop the Nadir, so it's going to be... Well, even so, like, we need to get like something on the board that like can work with the Nadir anyways, because you can't just dump in Tisser, it's not going to have its effect because of Inspector Border. So here he activates the Peace, sets 2, passes. I draw Judgment. So now we have 2 Ritual Spell, 2 Ash, Imperm, Purge, Judgment. This does not do anything. This out's nothing for me. I set 3. I set the Purge, Imperm, and the Judgment. I wanted to set the Purge because this is going to be a slower game, and I want to be able to use both copies of these Ash Blossoms, so it's very important we set this and didn't hold it in hand. So he now goes to his turn, has Tip, he activates the Card Scanner, hits a Runic Fountain, pretty good, but he has to give me Pride of Prosperity, which is part of the problem with a Card Scanner. So gives me the one on Prosperity, thank God, now we have Engine, good stuff. And yeah, so he's got Fountain, he activates Fountain. So here I immediately Judgment this Fountain. The reason being, like, yes, we take 4K, but he can't attack with this Inspector Border. Like, I'm not worried about him doing anything in the battle phase. So keeping this off the field, I feel like is like a pretty big deal. And I know that I have Imperm to stop him from like getting the Recycle or like using a Hugin to get another copy. So considering it's like the hard copy, instead of letting him... yeah, like, it's going to become a nuisance in this game, so I think that that's, like, is a well-worth judgment there. He now activates Golden Droplet, summons the Jerry from the extra deck, activates the Jerry effect. I put the thinking emoji, but he immediately took it back to the hand. I said think, Imperm that. Sure, he passes off. I draw the Barrier, which is a pretty good draw here. Activate Pot of Prosperity. We see Blessings, Diviner. Blessings doesn't specifically do anything for us right now. Diviner also can't dump anything because of the D-Fissure. Imperm, it's like fine, but we don't really need that. Low, Skill Guardian, and this also can't work. So it's pretty much, pretty obviously should be low here. So take low. Send everything else back. Activate the Barrier for Skull Guardian. Normal summon the low. Sure. We get the Trap card. We activate the Ritual Spell. And then here is where this is like kind of an important interaction that I wanted to show here. Was that in this situation we activate the Ritual Spell. He says it's fine, so this last card is not Dimensional Barrier. And In my opinion, this probably should have freezing cursed the low. However, he was probably thinking, like, I'm gonna wait for the Skill Guardian. So here it's very important that you chain the trap card to this because we have the second ritual spell. Because if you chain the trap card, shuffle back the prayers and get another low, and then tribute this low, summon the Skull Guardian because this low is going to be banished because of the fissure. That's very important because you now have no window of the low being, like, of not having a low and a Skull Guardian. So, like, now Skull Guardian's Omnigate is all, like, immediately live for this last back row, and none of your stuff can be targeted, so they have no good windows. So now you summon the Skull Guardian, and then so this is also a very important interaction, is that here I made sure to not use the Skull Guardian effect, because in my opinion, in this spot right here, I'm in the driver's seat here. Like, we do not need whatever we're going to search. Like, we have engine rolling, right? We don't need to search a card off the Skull Guardian, but we could activate the search and then get hit with a back row that is unfortunate, and now we're just stuck with. So, that was kind of the thought process there, and I think is, like, very important when they have one back row left and they don't have field spells, so the card in hand doesn't matter. You should not be activating the Skull Guardian here because we got the one effect from this, and now we get a second effect from this, but the no effect is important. So here we have to pass because he has Messenger of Peace. He draws Destruction. He activates Tip. I Ash Blossom. He goes activate Card Scanner, I think, for a moment. I activate the Dominus Purge because we have the 2 trap cards in the graveyard, so now this is going to negate and destroy, and now he has 1 card in hand, 1 blank that he didn't use on the last turn, and then these cards are, like, matter, but not, like, really when I'm in the driver's seat like this. So he goes on main phase. I go end of main phase, activate the trap to target the Messenger of Peace. He goes Chain Destruction to try to pop. I now go chain Skull Guardian. He tries to chain the Freezing Curses, however, I can be targeted, which I promptly stated. So now the Skull Guardian just negates that. We pop the Messenger of Peace. Now we can attack. We draw Nadir. Obviously, we can't use Nadir right now because of Dimensional Fissure. We activate, get Blessings. Activate Blessings. Get back the Trap card. And then here we attack the Inspector Border. We go ahead and go set the trap. Go to his turn. He sets. End phase. Activate the trap. Or end of main phase. End of main 2, I said. To pop the Dimensional Fissure because now the Nadir is live and it's just going to hit the last back rows and we'll attack for 8,000. So I go main 1. Activate Nadir. Send in Tis. That's going to pop this. We'll get Maximus. And then I know what his last back row is, so we could just get another skull in rotation immediately and yeah, attack him for 8,000. So that was the game. I definitely think that there is some situations that he could have played better in that. However, all that you can ever control is yourself and how you're playing and how your attitude is. Like, when I say my first hand, like, I couldn't really do anything. He had every flood in the game 1, and my hand was, like, medium, I guess. It was, like, fine. And we still were able to just come through and win because we were patient with the deck and, like, knew how the deck can just take over, and then all of a sudden you're just winning. And kind of how to pick through back row, and how in the second game we opened just nothing and he opened good, but it you gotta wait until you see some cards that'll let you play. So even if it's combinations, kind of knowing your outs, like the Sphere of Play, chaining the trap card to shuffle back the ritual spell to not have a low on the board, because had we not chained that and then we summoned that Skull Guardian, this would have been able to interact with the Skull Guardian. So would it have mattered that much? I don't know. You probably should have hit the low. But nonetheless, like, I don't think it, like, changes the full outcome of the game. So yeah, that was the replay. If you guys enjoyed, like I said, please like, subscribe, all that stuff. Check me out on Twitch. I stream Monday through Friday, generally from like 6 to 9 or 10 p.m. I'm going to be on a lot of weekend days as well. I'll be on today doing the Worlds stream all day. So I you know, if you guys have any interest, come check me out in between all the games. Like when the Duel Links is going on, I'm definitely going to be playing Voiceless Voice on Dueling Book. So, yeah, once again, I thank you guys all so much, and I'll see you hopefully in the next one.